jalankan segala fungsi dan kewajipan mereka dalamnya. Now, what has happened is, this express declaration that is sought by Dr. Zamri and the 6 ESCO members have not been granted by the Federal Court. So, is the declaration given by the Federal Court sufficient to give access to the coming Dewan sitting on May the 7th? Now, it is an issue that bristles with legal controversy and is left to be seen. Now, assuming that the Speaker choose to apply the judicial enunciation of Justice Chan Min-tat, and also relying on the fact that the declaration is not binding on the legislature, for the first time, the Federal Court in Malaysia may suffer the indignity of having its declaration be ignored by another arm of the government. E.M. Foster has a line, "Where angels fear to tread." I leave it to you to go back and find out what the rest of the sentence says. But here, has the judicial intervention helped to clear the crisis or confusion that is prevailing in Perak? I want to say to you, it has not helped the situation. In fact, the declaration that's given by the Federal Court has caused more confusion in this case of Dr. Zamri and the 6 ESCO members. It is left to be seen how the Honourable Adun acts out come May the 7th on this particular aspect. Another very serious situation that has arisen is, for the first time, the judiciary has appeared to have taken a very proactive approach in the encroaching on to the legislature. We know the CJ is the head of the judiciary, the Prime Minister is the head of the executive, and the Speaker is the head of the legislature. And any resignation that must be given, it is addressed to the Speaker. And now the Speaker has no bigger role than to be a postman to send a letter to the Election Commission. It is up to the Election Commission to decide whether or not there is a casual vacancy that existed. Now, this is a major inroad by the judiciary into the legislature, and whether this is something that we as Malaysians would want to welcome is for us to tell our Honourable Member of Parliament to do some rethinking on the subject. I want to make a quick response to some of the things raised by Dr. Shafi. Whether or not actually Nizar said those things as he stated in his speech is a matter that is disputed by the parties, and until the matter is resolved in his application for judicial review, I do not think I should venture more to comment on the matter. It could be sub judice. Now, there is a difference between the first interview conducted by Tuanku and the second interview. Now, in the first interview that Tuanku conducted, it was immediately after the March 8th election. Whereas, in the second interview, it was done when he purportedly dismissed Liza from office. Whether or not in a constitutional monarchy, the Sultan had absolute power to dismiss the Menteri Besar without a motion of non-confidence from the Dewan Negeri is a subject that is still to be answered by the court. Now, if the Sultan is a despotic monarch, of course, then he will have absolute powers. But Malaysia, the Tuanku is a constitutional monarch, and therefore he does not have absolute powers. He may have the power in the appointment, which we are not questioning, but the manner in which he dismisses or removes the Menteri Besar who has been appointed is a subject now before the High Court in Kuala Lumpur, and we understand that Zamri and the other co-respondent is again applying under Article 63 of the Perak Constitution to take the matter to the Federal Court for a final decision. Ladies and gentlemen, I agree with my learned friend Dr. Shafi that legally there is nothing wrong for an elected representative to hop from one party to another, at least under the present state of the law. But is that the sort of principle that we want to adopt in Malaysia? Should our elected representative whom we have elected on basis of party platform, be allowed to switch without a fresh mandate from the rakyat. Now, this is something where the Parliament should be directing its mind, rather than being so caught up or preoccupied in by-elections in Penanti, where they are even now afraid to contest in that by-election. The solution, ladies and gentlemen, to the Perak crisis, if I may suggest, it does not lie with the court, neither does it lie strictly with the Assembly. I say the final solution to this problem must lie with the rakyat. If the Speaker has misconducted himself, give him a good punishment, beat the daylight out of him. But of course, use your vote only, don't use violence. No, I don't encourage that. Use your vote, see who the rakyat choose to elect, to represent them, to govern them in the state of Perak. Ladies and gentlemen, another point that perhaps we should note is, a declaratory order has no cohesive value. Meaning to say, if the court gives you a normal order like certiorari or mandamus, if you fail to comply with that order of court, then it will attract consequences like contempt of court. But in the case of a declaration, but it does not enjoy the similar sort of consequences for any long failure to abide or comply with it. So, whether the federal court is wise or otherwise in doing what it has done, I leave it to your sagacious wisdom to decide. As for what lies ahead, it will be our duty, especially the Perakians, to call upon our political leaders, go back to the rakyat, let the rakyat decide who they want for the state of Perak. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Nga. Thank you very much to all the speakers. I'd like to express my personal appreciation and congratulations to the three speakers because they have carried themselves very well. They've conducted themselves very intelligently and straightforward to the point. So on that note, we go to the next part of our program, which is question and answer, soalan dan memberi pendapat atau komen. Just to, it's 10 o'clock now, kita akan sesi yang berikut ni selama sejam for 1 hour. May I make some suggestions? Yeah? Firstly, there is a microphone in the center there. So whoever wants to ask a question, please walk up to the mic. I think it's turned on. I see a red light. So speak into the microphone. Please state your name. Minta sebut nama dengan jelas. And please state if you want to ask a question, ditujukan kepada siapa. Who are you asking a question to? Or if you want to make a comment, please make a comment. Macam mana pun, please keep your questions and your comments brief and to the point, singkat dan tepat. And we will take 3 questions at a time. 3 orang, kita will take 3 people at a time, and then the speakers will answer. After you have asked your question or you have made your comment, please sit down. No waiting at the mic. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. And again, perbualan kita, our dialogue tonight has been